Hey guys, welcome back to the Snapbrain Chronicles. Today we're back at you with another ratchet video. Okay, today we have a Craftsman ratchet, nothing vintage or made in USA. This is the modern Craftsman from China, coming out of Lowe's, I'm assuming. Lowe's department stores, the ones who carry Craftsman now. So if you go to your Lowe's, you will find this ratchet. But before we jump into it, if you could do me a big favor and like and subscribe to this channel if you find this kind of content at all interesting or informative. Okay, so here we have a Craftsman. It doesn't say China, but this is made in China. And this is the CMMT 99420. It's a flex. Is a flex head ratchet, and it has, I think, let me see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 positions, and it goes from 90 degrees to 90 degrees. And you can see this is a little bit scratched up. It's been used, not too bad. The internals look pretty good, but we're going to jump into that in a second. Pretty heavy, a pretty heavy ratchet, considering that it's not that long. It's, oh boy, let me find my ruler. This ratchet is about 7 and a quarter inches. So by today's standard, not very long. Has a quick release there, and yeah, this is very akin to another ratchet from another big box, that one namely Pittsburgh and Harbor Freight. They make a 2-section ratchet, a 2-section flex, and this is pretty identical. They are the same, around the same thickness, and the screws and everything seem a lot alike. The switches are a little bit different, but that's not a big deal. But what is a big deal is that this one you can get for $16.99, and if they still have the coupon, there's a non-expiring coupon from Harbor Freight for Pittsburgh ratchets that will give you $5 off any Pittsburgh ratchet. I haven't used it in a while, so I don't know if that's still in effect, but pretty much then that would mean that instead of paying $16.99, you would be paying $11.99. So for $12, you can get that ratchet, the Pittsburgh. This one is sold at Lowe's, and they're charging, I think, $37 for this ratchet. Yeah, $37. So you could buy like 3 of those Pittsburghs for the price of this made in China Craftsman, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, to take this apart, you're gonna need 3 Torx bits. You're gonna need an 8, a 10, and a 15. 15 is for the handle bolt there. Okay, let's take this apart. First I'm gonna go with the handle. I'll push it down a little bit to give it some space. And And there's the screw. There's a little bit of blue Loctite on there, and that's what the bolt looks like. Okay, underneath the bolt, underneath the head, there's a ball, and in the handle there's a hole, and you see there's a spring in the hole. And let me get a napkin because this looks like it's a little bit oily. Okay. Okay, and there we have the handle. Okay, then for these screws that hold the plate, you're gonna need the T10. This is what those screws look like. There's a little bit of blue Loctite on these screws. And then finally, use your T8 to remove the bolt for the pawl, or the pawl switch. So that's a T8. Yeah, they have a lot of different sizes on this ratchet. And that's what that screw looks like. A little bit of Loctite on that one. Okay, and you remove your plate. And this is what the plate looks like. Nothing remarkable here. Usual plate thickness for a ratchet of this type from Taiwan, I'm assuming, maybe. Doesn't say, but I will give them that this was made in Taiwan. And here is the gear. When I got this, it was pretty well pitted inside. This must have been dropped in some water or something, and it was kind of a good amount of pitting in it. But I dropped it in some Evaporust, left it overnight, and it blew away all the pitting and the rust that was on it. And actually, this ratchet is in pretty decent shape. You can see the teeth here are all in good shape. And this is a 72 tooth ratchet. There's a little washer here on the anvil side. A metal washer. There's no rubber gaskets on this ratchet. Here's the quick release. Okay, and this is akin to the last ratchet I did, the Plum, which is the grandfather, I guess, of these ratchets. You see the double pawl design like on the Plum, but this one's a little bit different. These pawls have, I think, 4 teeth each. Yeah, 4 teeth each. And let me take at least one of them out. And this is the cone spring that compresses the pawl. Here's the pawl. It has a little protrusion on the bottom, and that protrusion goes into the hole on the bottom there to kind of stabilize the pawl. That's what the pawl looks like, and one has L on it and the other one has R on it, I guess the left and right. So that's what that looks like. And well, I might as well take out the other one because I have to show you the switch. And here's the switch. This is what the switch looks like. Thankfully it's made of metal, not plastic. And that small screw screws into that hole to hold it in place in the plate. A look inside the mechanism looks pretty decent. The broaching and the chrome looks pretty good. No complaints here about that. And you can see a little bit of the pitting there around the edge where the quick release, the other side of the quick release, you see that little black pitting. That's what's left of the little bit of rust that I found in there. Okay, so to put this back together, you stick your switch back in, you hold it in place, you get your right pawl, you stick that in, you get your left pawl, you stick that in to the bottom there. Okay, now you move the switch that it compresses one side and gives you an opening on the other side, and now you put your springs. You put your springs in. And the spring should look like that, with the small of the cone against the pawl and the wider part against the wall of the ratchet. And now you compress this spring and give that side a little room so you can get, well, you might as well put the gear in here. That helps also stabilize those pawls. Now you take the spring and you try to get it in there like that. Okay, now you take, you grab your little gasket there, put that on the anvil, and you put your plate on. You grab your small screw and you screw that back in. That's the screw for the switch. And not too tight, you don't want to go crazy. Now you take your plate screws, and remember those are 10s, T10s. So you switch and you screw that down, and remember not too tight because you never know, these screws or the plate might be soft. You don't want to strip anything out. If you need to have it secure, I would go with putting some Loctite on there. Okay, now you see if it's switching. Yeah, it's switching. Okay, now this part could be a little bit tricky because this spring is pretty big and has a lot of tension. So you get that in the hole. You get your ball on top of the spring there, like that. Now remember, the Craftsman's on the outside, and also the switch is on the outside like that. Okay, I'm gonna try to compress this, and also let me see how I'm gonna do this. I gotta compress this and try to get that screw. Yeah, this is something you want to probably do in a vise. And let me give it another shot. Let's see if I can get it to work. Like I said, the spring is pretty hard. Okay. Alright, got it. So now you press the top to compress it a little bit. You gotta change to T15. You compress it a little bit so it lines up a little bit better. And you tighten that down, and if you need to, put a little Loctite on there. But that's pretty much it for this teardown. Yeah, what's my opinion of this? Not a bad ratchet as far as like made in Taiwan, but at this price point, you can get a Williams made in the USA 3/8, not a flex, but a regular 3/8 Williams for around the same price as this, and those are made in USA. Like I said, the Pittsburgh cost, with the coupon, it cost like $12, and they want $37 for this. A bit pricey in my opinion for what you get, so I don't know. So buyer beware. Okay guys, until next time.